So when you consider what's reasonable in this case, consider whether or not it's reasonable for a criminal to be able to shoot himself out of a crime scene. That in this situation, the crowd has the right to try and stop an active shooter. It is entirely reasonable for that crowd to believe at that moment that he is a threat, and everyone else has a right to defend themselves also, not just the defendant. In this case, the crowd was right. They are trying to stop an active shooter, and they have a right to do so. And every day we read about heroes that stop active shooters. That's what was going on here. And that crowd was right. And that crowd was full of heroes.
Welcome to the Elias Sanabria Show. Kyle Rittenhouse, the case that has gotten national attention. We just heard the closing arguments, and I have to say this. The prosecutor is clearly an experienced litigator, no doubt about it. But he's full of crap. He sounds exactly like what a puppet of George Soros would sound like. Dishonest, corrupt, stupid, and with an anti-American agenda that has absolutely nothing to do with justice. In fact, during his closing arguments, he referred to the arsonists as heroes. Give me a break. So now people burning buildings to the ground and destroying everything in their way are heroes? Clearly, this prosecutor is rotten to the core. He is a threat to the safety of the American people. Now, after listening to his closing argument, you can tell from the very beginning that he doesn't have a case. And you can tell that he knows he doesn't have a case. And that clearly unfolds throughout the entire 70 minutes that he spoke non-stop during his argument. His entire argument, the entire case, is based on this dishonest, crooked, corrupt notion that Antifa and BLM domestic terrorists were the real heroes. And all they were doing was exercising the right to self-defense. So if they pull a gun on Kyle or attack him in any way, it's because that would be the most reasonable thing to do for a reasonable crowd of people when seeing someone running with an AR-15. They have the right to self-defense, he claimed. And that is exactly what they were doing, defending themselves from Kyle. Kyle is the predator here. Wow. What a stupid argument. You know what? I actually kind of like that argument. Because if there is something that BLM and Antifa terrorists are not, it's a reasonable crowd. The mere fact that they were domestic terrorists that were burning our cities to the ground, a prosecutor has to be either really stupid or very rotten to even consider a self-defense argument for such crowd of arsonists. And that's where his entire argument, his entire case collapses. Prosecution lost this case from the very beginning. But that's not even what matters anymore. The fact that they are prosecuting Kyle and calling domestic terrorists heroes is what really concerns me and should concern every single American. People like Thomas Binger and his team of prosecutors are the threat to the safety of the American people. Not people like Kyle. Now, I don't know if the jury will be able to see that. I don't know what their decision will be. But we hope they do the right thing and free Kyle, because this is not a case about a 17-year-old who tried to protect himself and his community. This is a case about the corruption within the Department of Justice against the American people. A lot is at stake here. Please don't forget to support my campaign against child sex trafficking. We're going to be saving a lot of families, a lot of people, and I invite you all to stand up for a noble cause and fight for it, because that's the American way. That's how we're going to save America. That's how we're going to make America great. Thank you and see you soon.